Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks very much for joining us as we have a chance to start things off today on this thoughtful Thursday, focusing on the geology of the Cayman Islands as well as the 40th anniversary of the Water Authority. And then at 1 o'clock, a good friend Nobi will be in our studio talking about some other things. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow,
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome, and thanks very much for joining us. And if you're, watching us on YouTube or Facebook or some of the other spaces where you can see our faces, well, thank you. But if you listen to us on the radio, let us tell you exactly who we have in the studio. Always a pleasure to be able to see the unfolding intellect in our society, the contributions to the academic pursuits, and even if it helps to inform the international community, but specifically reference to our own local context. So, Dr. Brian Jones, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much. And we get a chance to share more about Dr. Jones in a bit, but together with Mr. Hendrik John Van Genderen. I always get it right and wrong if I put it all together.
I go with that. Thank you.
Hendrik, always a pleasure. And as the Water Resources Engineer over at Water Authority, I think we've seen much change, not only in the last 40 years, but even in the last 4. In particular with all of the infrastructure, the evolution of technology, the notion of water purity, clarity, but accessibility. So it's important.
By all means. Water is life. We found it out very much, on a day-to-day basis, especially after Hurricane Ivan. People were very happy when the taps got turned back on again. Yeah.
And that's it. And I think Mr. Scott, as the Senior Development Control Technologist, 40th anniversary, whether it's your wedding, your birthday, remember when you planted that tree or dedicated that bench, it's a significant time, not only for the stone that represented, but just the milestone in and of itself.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for being here again. And the 40th is also known as the Ruby, and it's a significant milestone for any kind of celebration. And the Water Authority is very proud to have been in the Cayman Islands for 40 years.
And I know some Rubies who are wonderful people. I'm honored to have a neighbor who raised good children. Her name was Miss Ruby. So, but Dr. Jones, with that notion, for the last 40 years, your relationship with the Cayman Islands through your students and university, through the research that you put into the public domain, as we talk about your latest book, I just want to welcome you and maybe have some initial comments from you, sir.
Well, thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure, and certainly it's been a pleasure for the last 40 plus years. I've been able to visit the island commonly twice a year to undertake my research and do things I like doing, and also as a byproduct helping Water Authority and other groups with various aspects of the geology.
And that's the thing. I think more that we start to look at our country and sometimes we will look more at what we can see, and not necessarily understand its physical formations. But you're based at the University of Alberta in Canada. That's not next door in Kimmerbrack. I was curious, and always been, why Cayman?
Well, in my position as at the university, I teach a lot of students at many different levels, from undergraduate to graduate students. A lot of the students that we teach end up working in the oil industry, gas industry, and often in rocks that are basically similar to the rocks you find here on Cayman. So one of the disadvantages of living where I live is that we don't have any modern reefs. There are no modern coral sands or anything like that. So I decided it was time to start running field trips and bring the students down here so that they could see firsthand what was involved. And from that, it developed into a full-blown research program that has taken me 40 years to, and still going. I still haven't got all the answers.
And that's that's what research is. Whether it's an emerging technology for some sort of a medical treatment, or whether it's a study, what do we say, longitudinal on how population responds to something. Hendrik, even in your own academic studies, not long ago, you've seen much. What do you think about as we study and water being so important?
I think the subject of water everybody relates to that, right? Because that's what we need to live and to survive and whatnot. I got that background, environmental sciences, water, wastewater, you name it. And actually the issues that play in that are the same all over the world. I mean, everybody wants to have a decent glass of drinking water. I'm very happy that I can say here, without any reservation, that the water authority provides you that product. And we work hard on that, on maintaining that. In our business, there's a lot of it that goes into it. It doesn't happen by itself. It's about 150 staff members who are part and parcel of the whole operation. And we take a great deal of pride in doing that job, because I mean I'm a customer as well. So
exactly
what you drink, I drink, Cody drinks, everybody else drinks, and I wanted to make sure that it is all right.
Indeed. And we commend you for that professionalism, but also dedication. But from the scientific and the somewhat academic approach, Dr. Jones, if I may ask you, in your initial forays to Cayman, and even in the last year of your students, anything in particular that was surprising to you as you looked? You sort of geology being similar, but...
Well, the geology on the islands here, on the face of it, when you see the rock, looks fairly straightforward. But as we've demonstrated, that it's not straightforward and is quite complex and very difficult to understand. We made some strides into gaining an understanding of that, and also as a great part of that has been able to use that information to help the water authority to develop the water resources.
And I wouldn't mind if you would. I mean, I'm glad that from the private sector to government to the NGOs, even our national trust, we've benefited from the research over the 4 decades. But for many of us, I think when it comes to water in particular, or even if we were going to build a house and we're digging the foundation, we just look at the land and do it, and there's little thought.
Yeah.
You go a little further.
Well, you have to, especially when you're dealing with water. You can't just drill a hole and pull any water out of it. You've got to gain an understanding of where the fresh drinkable water is, and in the case of desalinization, knowing where you can extract the water, and then also to make sure that you can extract enough water and have it replenished on a constant basis.
Right.
You take water out, many situations throughout the world, you can take water out, but after a certain period of time, it's not replenished and it goes dry. So here you have to, we've taken and spent a lot of time and effort try and understand how the aquifers work and how the water is replenished to make sure that that does not happen. And so far it's been working.
And as you shared, I mean, it's been 40 years, but you still have more work to do, but it will continue.
Absolutely. The more we get to know about the islands and more detail of it, some of the work we do is very esoteric in a sense, very scientific, but the more you know, then you realize there's even more that you don't know. So we keep on going deeper and deeper and probing using different techniques and so forth.
And has the research been for Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac, and Little Cayman? Has it been concentrated on one island over the others? Has one?
It's definitely the main large focus has been on Grand Cayman, simply because of logistics, especially going back 20, 30 years ago. It was much easier to do the work here on Grand Cayman. We've also now done a lot of work on Cayman Brac, and it's only within the last 5 or 6 years that I've started to do some work on Little Cayman. And so it's a compilation of different things, of access to the rocks and everything else goes with it.
Well, after we return from this commercial break, maybe we can ask you, some of the complex nature of our geology, what our rocks look like, and, is it as porous? Is it only limestone? Give us, be as specific as you can. I'll pretend I'll be a student in your class.
Okay.
And then, Mr. Scott, maybe you can tell us about some of the activities planned for the 40th anniversary. I believe you have a ruby ring for me. No?
Not this time.
Next 40th. All right. No, he doesn't have. All right, going to pause. When we come back, we'll talk today.
Are you kidding me?
Hey girl, what's wrong?
My eyeliner foundation just ran out and I have to leave Savannah in 15 minutes.
That's easy. Just stop at Savannah Pharmacy. That's where I get all of my makeup, and for a great price too.
Really?
Really, girl. Where are you going?
To Savannah Pharmacy, duh.
Wait, I'm coming too. Ran out of my favorite nail polish.
Savannah Pharmacy and Countryside Shopping Village provides you with more than just prescriptions. Savannah Pharmacy is just around the corner with everything you need and the hours you need it. Visit us today for fast, efficient, and professional service. We are here as a team to assist you while taking care of your health. Call us today at 946-3336.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
How can you make a classic BLT sandwich even better? Well, by adding tuna. The land meets the sea in Subway's new sandwich, the Tuna BLT, available for a limited time. The Tuna BLT is exploding with flavor. Imagine crispy, juicy bacon strips on top of tuna, fresh lettuce, and slices of tomato, topped with your favorite sauce and choice of freshly baked bread. Enjoy the best of both worlds with the Tuna BLT from Subway. Subway, eat fresh.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
We still don't know the true impact of non-communicable diseases like diabetes and cancer on our people. This is why, from June 3rd to July 31st, 3,300 adults from all 3 islands will be chosen to participate in the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey. Results from this survey will allow the Ministry of Health and Wellness to take a data-driven approach to making healthcare policy decisions now and for the future. Log on to www.gov.ky/steps to learn more.
Talk to Dick. But I do have some questions. Talk to Dick.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk to Dick.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And it's not just an academic discussion speaking to, I guess, an esoteric audience in a sense, but to be able to have Dr. Brian Jones share with us, Mr. Hendrick over at the Water Authority. But Cody Scott, I wanted to ask you, as we were going into the break, it's the 40th anniversary, and as the chairman for the celebration committee, fireworks tonight, I think lunch tomorrow. What's on the plan?
Not exactly fireworks, but yeah, it's definitely a busy year because it is like I said earlier, a big milestone. So we've had, earlier on this year, we had like a church ceremony at the Church of Holiness in Red Bay. And then we just recently, like last night, we had the geology book launch event. Later on this month, May 31st, we have the Customer Appreciation Day, which will invite all our customers to visit us at the Red Gate office, and we'll have food, steel pan music, giveaways, raffles, promotion of like e-online billing, so you don't have to come into the office to bill. Everything can be online. And we currently have a art competition ongoing right now for all primary school children, which the theme is water is everything, which is telling for what we've been saying just earlier. So, and the deadline for that is May 12th. So, get those submissions in.
And I know you referenced for the children, but just for those who are listening, some parents haven't, been actively engaged with their schools. All schools? What
all
age?
Primary schools. So, yeah, all children up to 12 years old can submit.
So, me and Susan qualify. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And we have some really nice prizes for both age groups. So, like 5 to 8 there, and then like 9 to 11, iPads, VR headsets, bicycles.
Wow.
Really good prices.
Imagine you can get a VR headset, ride your bicycle, and you just be in a virtual world.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend.
I've seen some emerging technology, not just yet. But thank you so much, Cody, with that. Dr. Jones, if I might, as we were asking, you shared that it is a complex sort of geology that we have. Give us some of the things and...
Well, in the simplest sense, the islands obviously are surrounded by sea level, and that's the critical thing. And as we go back in geological time, we know that sea level has gone up and it's gone down. So that right now we've got exposed land and it's been eroded by weathering and everything else. But we also know from many different aspects that sea level is rising at the moment because of melting of ice caps and things. And if that carries on to the ultimate position, then there is a very good chance that you can flood significant parts of the islands, especially Little Cayman, which is so low-lying. So then you change it from an open landmass, it's now submerged, and coral reefs and everything else start to get established and grow on them. And that cycle has been repeated many times on this island, or on all of the islands. And with each of those processes and cycles, there are extremely complex processes that are going on, not all of which we understand, but they help to control the nature of the rock, the topography of the land, where fresh water may accumulate, where there'll be not fresh water and everything else. So it's, there are many, many different factors that come into play. And as a geologist, one of my tasks is to try and tease out which factors are creating the issues. Because if we know what create them, then we can understand them better.
What are some of those things that are creating those issues for us? I mean, we look at the pace of development, and
well, I'm not into issues relating to development.
No.
But geology operates on a very slow time scale, and for most people, you live your whole life on the islands, and you really don't see that much change in them. So the work that I do and look at the scientific issues, these are operating over periods of millions of years. So I work at a different time scale than most people. But
no, he's not a million years old, okay?
Yeah. But at the end of the day, they all come together, and that's what controls the landforms and the different attitude of the islands.
And we look at discussion sometimes about a water lens.
Yep.
And is it then that as we are, and I'm mindful, I don't want to get into development and any of even the socioeconomic or the political discussions, but just looking at the geology, and I'm thinking from a basic principle. You build a house, you now want to put in a cistern, a pool, you're creating some sort of feature, you're planting a tree. Sometimes this little piece of the yard is harder than this other piece. You need this piece of equipment to help you to get the whole. So from that perspective, a water lens and the different districts, is the composition of the soil, the rock formations?
We don't have a full understanding of that. We fairly good ideas, but one of the things that's very unusual on Grand Cayman is that you've got a number of very distinct water lenses.
Okay. Yeah. Henry, would you help us take Dr. Jones's mic and just pull it one little bit closer to him?
Yeah.
So yeah. Thanks. Thank you, Susan.
Sorry.
No, that's fine, sir.
Yeah.
You know what? It's a microphone.
So
thank you.
In some of the very simple geology models, an island of this size would only have one water lens.
Yeah.
But here on Grand Cayman, there's 3 major ones and there's numerous small ones, and each of them behave differently. Each of them have different characteristics from a chemical point of view, and that just complicates the situation. So, and it's so easy to completely destroy a water lens. If you take too much water out and don't allow the balance to come back, very easy to destroy, very difficult to build back to what it used to be.
Yeah.
So.
And I really appreciate this, because I think sometimes as just the individual, sometimes we don't appreciate the impact that we're having. And because this may occur in our lifetimes over 1 million years, it's such a long time that we don't see the impact.
That's a very true statement, because processes in geology take a long time. Even if it takes a 10 to 20 year time frame, that is still much longer than, I pulled out another bucket of water out the well. It can have no effect. Well, keep on doing that, it will have an effect, because processes of nature are very slow. They don't keep pace with human activity. So it's very easy to destroy water lenses.
I guess that reminds me of that adage that we hear, Mr. Scott. You don't only miss the water until one day when the bucket goes and comes back dry, right?
Yeah, I mean, water is vital to every aspect of life. So yeah, you have to protect it while you have it. Now,
and Hendrik, it's discussions like this, it's publications of this book, a sponsorship of the Water Authority with academic discussions, the scholarships, but the public relations and education, so that we understand that water is life and how easy men was taken for granted.
But by all means, what we do, and the invitation is open to all schools, always. It's in part it's self-serving. You look at me and you think this guy is not going to work here for another 15 years. It's more people like Cody here. We need new people. We need new scientists. We need people from all walks of life who come to work with us. So we're present in the schools to talk about the Water Authority, all aspects of what we do. The water science is actually quite exciting. We have a very good lab, an accredited lab, and very competent staff there. So for schools, quite often they call us up and said, can we come and do a tour? So they come and visit our reverse osmosis plant where we explain how water is made. They come to the lab and they see a real lab in action with very qualified people. And that is important to share that with the schools, because there's a whole lot more in Cayman. You don't really need to. If people want to, they can, of course, they can go in the banking sector or the legal profession or whatnot. But there's a whole lot more that you can do. Water is definitely one of those, and we can make a good living of it, and it is very fulfilling as well. Going back to the schools, if I may, I want to allude to that. So, for a large part, we have talked about Dr. Jones's contribution to science and what he does for the Water Authority and other organizations. Actually, 10 years ago, it probably was over a beer or something that this came up, and we said, you know what, we should start bringing some of that knowledge back to the school. So the idea of Geology Education Week was born. And I think we hit it off right away with the right concept, because whatever we started at that time, it still is very similar. First of all, teachers in our high schools, the knowledge, specific knowledge about Cayman, and it's hard to find. But here we have a scientist who has been working here forever and has a lot of knowledge. He is an educator, so there's no problem in sharing that. So we invited the teachers for a day course on geology. In the morning, they are in the classroom. They get lectures. It's a lot of stuff you go through. In the afternoon, we hop in the bus and we tour the island, and they see various places that relate to what we showed them that morning. The whole idea also is that the same teachers then can turn around and make a similar trip with their students. So we equip them. When that all was worked out and it worked well, they said, you know what, we should go and do the same thing in Cayman Brac, because there's a lot more to the geology and certain things that you can't find or see here. It's in Cayman Brac. So we have made a few trips as teachers to Cayman Brac. It's great fun, I can tell you that. And on top of that, then we approached the schools and said, we can provide a geology lesson to teachers. And it fits in with it's not just we show up and start, or Dr. Brian shows up and he starts talking about something. We asked the schools, what are the subject areas that are relevant to the curriculum that you have? So based on that, a set of lessons has been developed, and it's very rewarding in those schools when we go there. Cody did it last year. I was sick at the time, and I did it previous years. And we are in the schools, and it is enlightening to be in the presence of somebody who really knows what he talks about, and the feedback that you get from the students. So that's quite an important aspect of the work that Dr. Jones does here, and I think that's also why the relation with Cayman is there for 40 years, right? It is not a one-way street that he comes here and gets samples and they go in a laboratory somewhere in Canada and he writes various scientific papers about it that are more for the scientific community. He comes back to Cayman, he helps the Water Authority, helps the National Trust, DOE, actually anybody has questions about geology, and now we're also back in the schools and we share that knowledge. So I mean, it is. I think it's so nice that is possible, and we're planning to do so again in coming October.
Okay, we're going to take the final break, and I know we'll come back and just continue our discussion, but we'll ask more about the geology, and Cody, perhaps you can tell us about some of the activities as well. Please join us right after this break.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Here at Savannah Pharmacy, our pharmacists do a lot more than just count out your pills and fill prescriptions. They undergo extensive education in the study of how the human body uses and responds to medicine. They have also built up years of experience in real-life counseling on how to take medication safely. Our pharmacists are on the front lines in keeping our society healthy. Don't risk it or hesitate. Contact us or schedule a consultation with one of our pharmacists today. At Savannah Pharmacy, we care about your health.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you're going to invest in an exotic pet, choose anything but a Norwegian forest cat. Apparently, they will eat all your jewelry. Before you know it, you're racing to the vet when your cat escapes from his carrier and lunges for your earrings. You crash and your cat swallows your pearls. But if you're smart, you'll have CG Motor Insurance and get the best comprehensive coverage for the price.
Get the best comprehensive coverage for the price. CG Britke. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
Vaccines are safe and save lives. If you think you or your loved ones haven't received all their vaccines, you can get up to date. Let's play catch up on routine vaccines. Call the Public Health Department today on 244-2648 to schedule your appointment. Together, we can work to make our community fully vaccinated and healthier than ever before, one vaccination at a time. This message is brought to you by the Public Health Department in conjunction with the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome, Mike, and thanks for joining us. It's really a pleasure. I must, through our guest, thanks, Ms. Leah, for reaching out and helping us to facilitate this discussion as we talk both about the 40th anniversary for the Water Authority and the recently released book launch, Georgia to Cayman Islands. We'll tell you where to get that. As we continue the discussion with Hendrik and Dr. Jones, perhaps, Cody, before we chat with you about the 40th, we do have a caller joining us. Let's go to the phones and welcome this caller. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hey,
I'm curious. It seems to me that the discussion I've heard so far that there's been a lot of, I guess we'd call, some core samplings done all over the island. And my question is, and I think, from my perspective, it seems that it's been for soils or grounds or whatever you want to call it, and water. But have there been any samplings done from the water or directly down into some of the earthquake splits that are located throughout the island?
Dr. Jones or Ms. Hendrick?
We're looking at each other. No, let me be honest. We have not focused on that. We have done a lot of water sampling throughout the island, so that is from the freshwater lenses, also from saltwater, because that provides us with the knowledge that we need to be in the business that we are in.
Okay.
To my knowledge, we have not specifically focused on areas that have been impacted by earthquakes.
Yeah. No, that's exactly true. I mean, we have drilled numerous wells, Water Authority and other people. Yes, we've got rock core from it, but we've also got a lot of water samples from it. And those water samples get analysed in detail to provide information about their composition, etc. But we've not looked at things like earthquake splits or those specifically.
Well, I got another question. But I think around 1984, 85 might have been, there was some conjecture that there was oil deposits on Grand Cayman. Have you all did you Have you dwelt into that or not?
Many years ago, there were some deep wells drilled in the central part of Grand Cayman that were designed to test for the possibility of oil and gas or gas being there. Those wells, which were drilled to a depth of about 1,200 feet, did not show any presence of oil or gas. And given the structure of the islands, the nature of the rocks, I doubt very much whether you would ever find any oil and gas here. The conditions are just not right for it to form and to accumulate.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Well, maybe you should do a little test of that water that's in some of those splits, because there might be something in there that could be very beneficial to the community, the island.
I will keep it in mind. Thank you.
Thanks very much, sir. Thanks. But this shows the interest, I believe, and maybe part of the 40th anniversary celebrations. I've had 1,000 more questions, actually 998, because you answered 2 of them. But,
yeah, okay.
The next time. And maybe for another discussion, to the caller's point, there were these older stories about, freshwater accumulation within the North Sound. People say as children they remember being able to go there and there's this thing coming up from the North Sound and they taste it. You know what? I'm curious enough to ask publicly. Is that true? Do we know?
I have no information on that, so I cannot comment on it.
All right, Hendrik?
Yeah, people have approached me about that, so I know about it. The concept with these freshwater lenses is the water originates from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
That is the rainfall, that lands on the land surface, and then it accumulates below the surface.
Mm.
The whole island, in a very simplistic way, is a big chunk of Swiss cheese, meaning that there are all kind of holes and whatever in there. So we know for sure that there is a good correspondence between the water, the groundwater, and the water in the sea.
Mm-hmm.
So there are channels where when you have heavy rain, it finds quickly its way and comes out. So it is not a myth.
Mm.
It is very well possible that it finds its way into the Sound or anywhere around the island.
Huh. And this is, the interesting things where that maybe that knowledge, for want of a better word, from the centuries, from our parents, their parents, that somehow we don't pass on. Dr. Jones?
There's a lot of truth to that, because very often reading, and I've read quite a lot of the old reports that were written on the islands, and it's often amazing the bits of information that are in there, and you go and check it out, and it's exactly what they said. So some of the people that lived here in late 1800s and early 1900s, very astute observations,
mm-hmm.
and they made records of it, and sometimes we've found some very valuable information by being able to find those locations and then look at them with fresh eyes.
Through a fresh lens.
Yes.
Oh, I mean, all right, man. But I'm hoping that I not only throughout the 40th anniversary, but just a one-off even, we can have more discussion to encourage the geology students, to encourage us not just in water conservation, but the importance of how we, look at our own individual impact on water. I want to ask Cody, but if I might be permitted, Dr. Jones, one final question on the science. We talked about replenishing, the water resources that we have. We extracting. We understand taking. Is there anything that we can do to help to preserve the water resources?
The best thing you can do is exactly what the Water Authority is doing now,
mm-hmm.
is to get thorough investigations done prior to drilling a new well or extracting, so you can gain very good knowledge beforehand of what will happen if you take water out point A,
mm-hmm.
what effect will have on point B, and you try the best you can to predict those things. It's not always 100% accurate, because we're dealing with things way below the surface of the earth, but it does give us a very good idea of what will happen, and it certainly can help us say, no, that don't drill there, that is and that's probably the most important one, is to identify the places where you do not drill, because all it needs is one bad well, and you can ruin a lot of freshwater lenses.
Well, these are the questions. This is where, thank you so much for your extensive research over the decades. And Cody, as part of the 40th, you have the education, information, and the celebration. Any sort of final thoughts you want to share with us as we continue?
Yeah, I mean, it's very important that we have Dr. Brian Jones here with us for 40 years, because that knowledge, like Hendrik said, started in 2013 with going into the schools with the annual Geology Week. And we plan to do it earlier on this year, and a very important part is giving it to all the students in the Cayman Islands. I mean, as part of the 40th this year, the Water Authority has decided to do a significant lab upgrade for the Cayman Brac High School's scientific labs, which I hold very dear to myself because I am from there. And so now that's another event that's going to be happening in September, along with the Cayman Brac Customer Appreciation event, because we are extending the water supply pipeline up there. So we'll knock out two birds with one stone while we're up there. So
it's good stuff, man. And I'm, publicly going to extend the invitation to continue this partnership, this education, but also a recognition of the importance of water, and maybe us as teachers and parents to encourage your students to look, as Hendrik said, beyond, what we think may be the traditional sort of industries, and see the importance of it. So, Hendrik, final words to you. The book, you hand deliver it to those who order it. How do we get the book?
Thank you. But first of all, thank you for having us. It's amazing how quick this time flies by.
Yeah.
For the book, the bookstore, The Next Chapter at Cayman Bay, they are bringing in the book. They had some challenges in getting it. So if you run now tomorrow to the bookstore, you can place your order, but the book will not be there yet. But they will be happy to take your order. And the National Trust of the Cayman Islands, equally, you can go there as well, and they also take your order. And from the conversations that we had with them the last few days, in the next few weeks, that always sounds a bit fake, but the book will be here. And when we come back when Dr. Jones comes back for Geology Education Week, what we try to do is spend some more time. If we're willing to have this a second time, we can continue the conversation. It wasn't possible this round, but we also would like to have a couple of public events where he can talk about how the book came about and what is all in it and whatnot. So
well, we would love to be partners in that.
Thank you.
You're most welcome, sir, and enjoy. You're in good company with Hendrik and Cody. So thank you very much. And to your students, the continued research, maybe they'll return with you, and we can have some of them in our studio as well.
Sure.
All right.
Thanks, Dirk.
Thanks much. Cody, always a pleasure, man.
Thank you.
Hey, good camera back fellow, Hendrik.
Yes.
All right. Well, from one camera back to East End. So when we return, nobody will be our guest. I don't know what we're going to talk about. I have to consult my notes, but you're going to find out. So join us right after.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Department of Education Services invites the public as the top 8 instrumentalists in the 2023 National Children's Festival of the Arts preliminary competition compete for the title of Young Musician of the Year at the Georgetown Historical Public Library on Saturday, May 6th, starting at 6:30 p.m. Admission is free. For more details, call 945-1199 or email Nikki, that's nicki.samuels@gov.ky. In international news, the U.S. has denied Russian claims it masterminded an alleged drone attack on the Kremlin on Wednesday aimed at assassinating President Vladimir Putin. A day after accusing Ukraine of carrying out the alleged attack, Mr. Putin's spokesman said it had been done with Washington's support. Protesters are gathering in New York City to call for justice for Jordan Neely, a subway passenger who died on Monday after a man placed him in a chokehold. Video of the encounter showed 30-year-old Mr. Neely struggling as another man grabbed him and pinned him on the ground. New York City officials have said the death was a homicide. They have questioned and released the 24-year-old U.S. Marine who restrained him. Police and prosecutors will now decide whether to charge him. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
The headline news are brought to you by Health Services Authority.
When you have a sports or fitness-related injury, trust the expertise of the HSA's Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic to get you back in the game. Our internationally trained and certified physicians specialize in sports traumatology, sports medicine, pain management, and orthopedic surgery. For treatment of common injuries such as tendonitis, arthritis, tennis elbow, rotator cuff, or knee tears, schedule a consultation with the Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic at Smith Road Medical Center by calling 949-8600 or visit hsa.ky for more information.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands. Hinton Roxroy Connolly was born in Creek, Cayman Brac on the 9th of September 1937. The second of 8 children born to Henry Kitchener Connolly and Olive Connolly, fondly known as Big H to his family and friends. Like so many other Caymanian boys and men, young Hinton went to sea at the tender age of 17, working with national bulk carriers for 5 years. During his tenure at sea, Hinton sailed on many different ships, namely the Ulysses, Old Titan, St. Clair, Petrolor, Petra Sea, and Petra King. He sailed between Portland, Maine to Venezuela. Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome, and thank you very much for joining us. And as we get into a discussion with Nobi, I want to say a special thanks to the Water Authority, Ms. Leon and her fantastic team over in the marketing for helping us to facilitate that discussion with Dr. Jones and Hendrik and, of course, Cody. Nobi, welcome, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, man. Good to see you too. Thanks for having me again.
You know, and as we talk and speak about, you know, what I think is not just a passion, but obviously should be of absolute importance when it looks at our environment, the impact that we have on it, and how the environment affects us, from our health and well-being to our economic situation and the like. And to think of the geology, I mean, Dr. Jones just on a very cursory level mentioned some things, but as his last words, you know, you dig in a hole, a well, you know, you're drilling it. Well, it's probably best to know where not to drill as much as it is to know where to, and the impact that has. That sort of almost underscores us as individuals in what we're doing. And I want to see that to champion your constant reminder of us to be good stewards to the environment. So I like it, man.
Thanks, man.
All right, man. I have many things to ask of you. And like the Jimmy Cliff song, many rivers to cross, but we'll do it together.
Yeah.
Talk to me. What's on your mind today?
Just coming in. It's been a long time.
Too long, man.
People keep saying they haven't heard our voices together on the radio.
In harmony.
You know, at the end of the day, you know, the mean person is you know who that is, right? It's only one person. Absolutely.
But this is where you bring not only good laughter and levity, but you bring a sense of sobriety. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just a lot of issues going on right now. I can't say I can solve them.
Mm-hmm.
But just to bring to the public awareness of different issues. And I'm always going back to the main one that I've been at for a long time. The Collier's development is still out there, up for sale, although we've made a submission, or Sustainable Cayman together with myself. I'd like to say I was together because they spoke to me, and made a submission for them to consider purchasing, to the Conservation Council, conservation fund, for them to consider purchasing the Collier's pond, which I'm very keen on. And overwhelmingly, when I take people on my tours, they're constantly, they overwhelmingly agree that that's one of those places that we should really consider preserving. Although it is preserved, but I want to take it another step, and that is for government to actually purchase it. Now, I looked at the value that they're trying to sell it for. I know that government has the right to actually compulsory acquire certain properties, but again, they're being very generous in a lot of cases, so and letting it be. But there's actually the cost is $92 million. I did the numbers, and the pond is supposed to be about 20 acres. If the pond is 20 acres, for my numbers, it comes up to about around $3.7 million, right? I don't know how that's a big hurt to the fund, which I know last time was $85 million in that fund. At the end of the day, we need to purchase certain areas that make sense.
Right. No, I think,
and that's what I'm trying to get at. And if my numbers aren't correct about the amounts, I still feel that we should consider it. And I think it should be minimal. And that's just over the overall value of the property. I know that if it's 535 acres, 20 acres of it is pond, right? The pond should be valued less than the others, right? And again, like I said, government still has the right to actually compulsory acquire. But again, it doesn't happen. At the end of the day, it is one of those places that I'm very keen on people preserving, or the island preserving. People may say it's because I do these tours and I cross there. Well, maybe a little bit, but more importantly, I have tons of places that I stop on my tour. Not necessarily there. There's a lot to see, and it would if I want to preserve it for myself, that wouldn't be this case, because I'm trying to say it's for everybody.
Yeah. Well, what's
everybody to stop, Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you sharing, because sometimes we find, in particular in smaller communities, someone who sees something rarely gets embraced. They usually ostracize if it's something that sings against the core of the more established, right?
Yeah.
But in this instance, I wonder to what extent, as you shared, a government utilizing these resources would acquire something or restrict something, for the greater good. My friend reminded me yesterday of the first principles, the notion that what are we doing? And looking back to our ancestral practices, the respect that our forefathers had for the land, and an attempt to ensure the future generations can positively benefit. I don't know if we're sufficiently mindful of our endeavors. A lot of lip service is being paid. Sometimes big checks are being written to, fund certain things. But at the end of the day, is it any meaningful contribution, impact, outcome? To our listeners, the phone lines are open, and I will do my very best to ensure that nobody doesn't get in trouble by anything I say. And if any luck, I have a job tomorrow, but we'll see how that goes. We want you, to utilize what is truly the most accessible forum in this country, and one that is for the people here at Radio Cayman. It is our radio station, so give us a shout, share your thoughts. You can WhatsApp, call us if you want, 925-3261. You can use the Flow toll-free line, 1-800-534-8255. You can call even 949-8037. Nobody... As nobody shows me when the camera's up. Boy. But I'll look at this better than me. And boy. Maybe that gentleman might want to call and share his thoughts publicly. He has the ears of many. I want to ask you, though, when we look at where we are, and you were talking specifically Collier's Pond, I think often we think of things and we only look at them as the impact. So Colliers may be in the eastern districts, but it doesn't matter if you're in Brack or in West Bay. you can appreciate it. You can not only visit it, but you can benefit from its environmental sensitivity. If you develop it, fill it in, whatever it is that you do, you might understand the negative consequence until 3 or 4 generations.
Yeah, but let me clarify. There's no, I don't know if the owners of that property is intending to do anything of that nature.
No.
But I'm of the opinion that it should be government-owned property because it is a bird sanctuary, and I just think the area. I mean, I just saw something there, just very, very interesting. And anybody, I don't ever normally do this, but if you want to follow me, Eco Rides Cayman, on Instagram, right? Basically, I just posted a picture of a spider. We together with a group of people, I think it was 8 people we were, and on my tour, and there was a spider that I'd never seen nothing like that before. It just came and actually captured a butterfly, wrapped it around, and pulled it across, right? I'd never seen nothing like that before. And I took a picture, and then I went and I did research and found out that it is a brown widow spider, which I didn't even know we had that kind of spider.
We now do.
Right?
Yeah.
And that was quite interesting. But like I'm saying, that was done at that pond. So it says to me that whole area, there's things there that, you always hear people talking about in the sea, because we got so much people doing diving, and all of these people are doing diving, they talk about their interest, right, which is diving, and they'll tell you all of these special creatures that are out there, why we should preserve this area versus this area. Right now in East End, from the Colliers, Public Beach, all the way to the record of 10 sales is considered a reserve. They put that in place 2021. I know a lot of the locals don't really agree because it takes up all the area for fishing for anybody inside the reef. Hey, I'm about conserving, but we have to also think about our people who fishing for a living and who want to go out there. That's an issue. But what I'm saying is they've said that in those areas there's certain things that are protected that are special. So who've been looking other than the mangroves and other stuff in certain areas, saying there are things that we should protect on the land? That's why I bring this to attention.
And I think too, as you've shared, the idea that you're out there frequently, very much like the person who's on the water, whether they're fishing, diving, or otherwise, they've seen it. You're on the land, you get to see firsthand the impact. You get to see the things that many of us won't see. We don't make time to see.
Yeah, well, I'm so lucky that, not going to call the name, but I've taken several politicians on my tour. I've actually taken politicians that are not from Cayman on my tour. And then that was amazing to me. But there's a politician that came on my tour, a previous politician, and I was very happy to have him on the tour, and he actually pointed out so much things to me. And he also likes the whole idea of the natural environment and what we should be preserving and stuff. And that's really great, because I don't know everything, right? And I've learned some things, but then everybody else can put their input, and we can make this something special,
But this is where and I'm very grateful that you'll come and share, because I think many times we understand, we can't ring the bell. We only see the impact of something after the fact.
Yeah.
And that's probably usually too late, right? The development of a certain area may be necessary, but can it be balanced? Is it that we have to be very disciplined and make the necessary sacrifice, if that's the word to be used, to ensure that this thing is preserved, protected, or at the very least, positioned in such a way that it benefits not just today?
Yeah. Well, this goes into a lot of different areas, because I just I should have done it earlier, but I just wanted to contact the Department of Environment just today, asking them to give me an idea of the various types of mangroves that we have and which mangroves are protected. And the reason why I asked that is because more and more I'm seeing mangroves being developed, mangrove areas, right? And I was of the opinion from some people that certain mangroves were not protected. That's not the my understanding now from the Department of Environment, all mangroves are protected.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, there's a lot of different entities that approve them.
Mm.
One of them is planning, and once it's proved by them, it's I don't think it can be taken back or what have you. But at the end of the day, maybe we need to start getting some structure on who can and controls on these areas, because they say they have it, right?
Mm.
But I still don't understand why the mangrove areas are being developed. We haven't seen it.
But one of the things that I like having a conversation with you is that yes, there is the knowledge, but you share it in a way that us as just regular people can relate and understand. Then it leads to more questions as to how and why and when and the like. But it also should remind us that our actions have an impact.
Yeah.
The consequence may be negative, may be positive, it may be unknown until some time, but it should cause us to be willing to say, well, do we do this now or never? Do we do it later on? Do we do it in a phased approach? Do we do it in the way that's proposed? And it all ties into the impact from the traffic congestion on the roads, to the overcrowding in certain places, to the demand for housing or education or healthcare, or all these things.
Well, one thing I hope I can make sort of a analogy here to show you certain things. For example, there was a point in our time here in Cayman, or history, that we didn't have an issue with green iguanas.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a point where we didn't have an issue with what do you call them again? The lionfish. But things have progressed that we had an issue, and now we have to do things to protect. So a lot of people don't think, and I understand this from a lot of views, a lot of people don't think development causes a problem. A lot of people don't think we have a global warming issue. No, a lot of people don't probably think that, and I am no professional on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I know things have changed from the time I was growing up.
Yeah.
Right? And one of the things that I noticed and I paid keen attention on, which is a part of my tour when I go on my tour, is the whole sargassum seaweed. There was a point where we did not have that as well, to the extent that we're having it now.
Mm-hmm.
So has to be something changing.
Yeah.
Right? It's our understanding that that's because of global warming. There is releasing, and it's from the Atlantic Ocean, and it's coming, that kind of stuff. So we have to be careful cutting down our trees, cutting and removing our mangroves. Everything's getting hot. I just think that when you start to analyze it, you get to a point where you might then start to say, "Oh, this is why I need to make sure that if I cut a tree down, make sure that I don't be using too much throwing plastics out. Make sure that I can walk along the beach, and if I see plastic, I can pick it up." We all need to make an effort, in my view, to preserve what we have as Cayman, to try and be environmentally conscious. Right? Don't just think that it's just we can just throw there, someone pick it up. It's a lot of things going on, and I don't see a lot of our own local people talking about it. This is as much of a concern for us as everybody else that coming here talking about it.
Why is that, you think, though? I mean, is it that we are so distracted? Is it that...
No, I think a lot of it is we're probably not properly informed from an early age on it, and we've grown with it a certain way, so we're not really that concerned.
All right.
And it's not, and we all like to keep things clean and all that, and it could be different changes in our population. There's a lot of things, right? But I don't even want to go on with the whole trash situation, because that's a whole another thing which I'm really giving the representative who's working hard his time to try and see what he can do. But we can't take steps forward and then backward. In my view, that's the best I can explain, because this whole keeping Cayman clean, keeping our areas clean is a big issue. But you cannot force people to keep an area clean if there's nowhere for them to put the garbage.
That is perhaps very evident, but we also seem to have a mindset, a mentality, an approach for some reason that we don't need to care about the environment. We can just throw whatever we have wherever we want, whenever we want. And I'm wondering, is that really what is occurring?
I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know. I just know that is not the way it was when I was growing up.
All right. So
and I just know, right? I want to tell you this, right? The impact is that a lot of people on my tours are, they're concerned about the trash.
Yeah, and it's evident. I mean,
and I can't say I'm embarrassed. I'm came on and I point everything out about that, and I'm not gonna distance myself from that. And trust me, I think the people of East End are all. There's a lot of people up there that have always been focused on keeping their area clean.
Very much who they are, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Very much who they are. So that's basically, it's just a touchy thing, to be honest.
I'll share with you that many of the experience will be part of a civic group, maybe even our work. Colleagues may decide to do it every so often, maybe it's a church group. And on a regular basis, there are many who will go out on the start of the morning or some other day of the week, and they spend a couple of hours cleaning up a particular area, only for shortly after for it to look as if nobody has done that. It becomes almost a fait accompli. There's no point in doing it, and we just decide, well, what's the point? So in saying that, I ask again, what is occurring in our place where, as a people, right, the general population seems to be okay with just tossing things from our cars, walking or riding, we just throw it along the way. Is it spite, stupidity?
I don't know, but I'll be honest with you. I don't see people doing that.
Yeah.
But with the amount of trash that I see along the side of the roads at that, I wonder what happens. I don't know. I don't know if it's people putting it on their truck or their car and it's dropping out. I don't know.
But even if it is, right, what is our mindset to secure that load? So let's say it's just the clippings from your yard. Right,
yeah.
Great.
Well, to be honest, I don't have all the answers, but I'm going to tell you what I've thought about. And, there's going to be some people that disagree with me in comments soon, right?
There might be.
But first off, if we're in East End and it takes us 4 to 5 minutes to get to Georgetown, and there's no place for us to put our dump in East End, then we have to seriously consider, because there's a lot of places, example, whenever there's a storm or something, trees and stuff that damage, they create a little area, but ongoing people have trees and different things that could be compost. There could be an area for compost, right? That trees, brims, that kind of stuff. And then, other than that, I think what we need to do is, for every district, there are people that have been unemployed. They need to think about how can we employ them in their own environment and therefore keep their environment clean. We don't want. I don't think it makes sense to try and say bring someone from another location or whatever to clean your environment for you, when we could get our own people to be a part of cleaning that if they want to, right? It's a job, and you'll be putting some funds back into the community to people who are not employed. The other part of it is that I found that a lot of our local plants and stuff like that, for example, our national tree is a silver-tash palm. Some of the sites that I go to with the silver-tash palm, I personally believe that our silver-tash palm should never be cut up in any just haphazard manner. It should be kept in a good way. That is our national tree. It has a reason that is our national tree. But when I go to some of these places, it's all cut up. Like, how could you do that? So you need to learn your environment, learn what's important to you, because people are coming to see your environment, right? Whether they're on a tour with me or whoever, I'm telling them what the tree is. I'm telling them about the environment, I'm giving them our history and heritage. Maybe other people are too, correct? But if they go there themselves and see these trees or have learned it, because a lot of people like come in Cayman, read up on Cayman. But they know about the island.
Yeah.
And when they see it, then they wonder, like, why?
And this is where I think hopefully we all know, but we actually really question, right?
Yeah.
Just simply the cutting of the trees. Is it just a hacking that we see, or is it an informed approach? The information that is shared about Cayman, is it something that is accurate, or people can say what they want when they want to say? We do have a call, though, Nobi. Let's take this call. Welcome, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hey, good afternoon, Dwayne.
Welcome, man. How are you?
Okay, and good afternoon, Nobito, man.
Good afternoon, man. Thanks for calling.
Welcome, man. Well, when it comes to the heat, I was wondering if it would be cheaper. You see the new road that they made in Georgetown with the bricks.
In the center of town.
Yeah, the walking path.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was cheaper than asphalt, because I think what is causing a lot of heat here in our country now at this time is asphalt. So if people are able to put bricks in their parking lots, I think it would help us a lot in cutting down with the heat around here. Thank you.
All right. Thanks very much, Nobi.
I mean, I never have thought about that, but to be honest, like, I mean, I've been places like Tampa when I went to school. Remember, the entire driveway, all the whole area one was bricks. Then I've been to Nicaragua. There's a lot of brick roads, and I was trying to wonder why they have brick roads, but maybe it's because of that. I don't know. I probably have to check about it, but
well,
good point.
Good point. I mean, so the resources that we use.
Yeah.
Let's take one of the call, perhaps. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for joining us in the studio. Hey, good afternoon, welcome. Oh, sorry, to the caller. Susan says, time for a break. Clock says the same thing. And then we got a WhatsApp message to read. Stay tuned.
They say variety is the spice of life. And that's why at Subway, we are introducing the new Boneless Hot Sub. Say what? The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new boneless hot sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointments.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
CUC is committed to cleaner energy for Grand Cayman. Their strategy is aligned with the future needs of our country. The CUC team is working to create a sustainable energy future for us all. Using a mix of rooftop and utility scale solar, their goal is to bring electricity costs down without compromising network safety or reliability. CUC has a plan and they are ready. Follow their journey at www.roadstorenewables.ky to learn more.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Are you tired of waiting in long lines at the pharmacy just to fill a prescription?
If what, child, let me tell you.
Well, now you can save time and money with ValueMed's online prescription service. Visit ValueMed's new website, valrx.com, and click the Refill Subscriptions button. Fill in your information and choose your preferred pickup location. Or email your prescription refills for ValueMed Walkers Road at rx-wr@valrx.com, and for ValueMed in Boddentown, email rx-bt@valrx.com. Say goodbye to the hassle of waiting in lines and hello to the convenience of online prescriptions with ValueMed Pharmacy. Visit valrx.com to place your orders today.
Quitting smoking isn't easy, but it's absolutely possible. Here's how you can do it. 1. Decide you want to quit. 2. Get the help you need. And 3. Follow through. We're here to help you on your journey to kick the habit. Call the Public Health Department on 244-2889 to register for the next course beginning on May 31st. This message is brought to you by the Public Health Department in conjunction with the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. And in the studio, our guest, Shane Nobi Edwards. And as we talk about environment and impact, it certainly crosses all social divides. Nobi, we do have a caller online. As we go to the phone, say good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Sterling.
Hey, good afternoon, my lady. How are you today?
Not too bad. Hi, Nobby. Long time.
Hi, how you doing? In a while.
Can I hit on a couple of things, please?
Yes, yes. We're anxious to want to hear from you. Yes.
And I called you a couple of days ago in regards to CEC and like bill and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So I got my bill. I think it was this morning, and it says $230. I am like $230. What am I doing? You know. So I called the company and I looked on the bill. I went down and itemized everything on it, and I'm thinking I tried as far as to breathe in the island, and my food charge is $100 and change for one person. Unspeakable, you know.
Yeah.
Just to think that one person is having $100 and change your food charge plus other those charges on your bill. You can imagine, and I don't have no central air. I have an electric stove. Very seldom put it on, you know. And I don't know what to say about CEC. Who's that money going to? Is that part of the government? This food charge goes to the government. You all know.
They have a government fuel duty. I'm looking at mine as well, and you're correct. Mine is $104 and fuel costs. Yeah.
Yeah. So that goes to government directly, or
I don't.
Part of CEC and part of government.
I think that's what they would pay fuel, but the government fuel duty is what they would pay to the government, right? So I don't know how that works, but I probably have to ask more. Yeah.
Yeah, because you know, I think that is ridiculous. And CEC is putting up all these new taller poles and cutting the other one halfway down to be removed sooner or later. And their excuse is they're waiting on lines, cable wireless to take their wires off of the old poles so they can take these other poles down. So we're having these double and triple poles throughout practically the whole island. And I think it looks so unpresentable to the island, knowing that that is the only company we got on this island. And if anybody should help keep this island looking decorative, especially with wires and poles being put down here and there throughout the whole island, these are the old poles that they're cutting down and leaving there waiting for cable wire. I say cable wireless, so it's always cable wireless, will always be cable wireless. They're waiting on them to come and remove their wires, and look like nothing is being done. And Sterling, when the government speak of cost of living, and they're going to work on you know, food and electricity and all of the cost of living situation here in Cayman. Let me tell you something. No government in this island can fix any cost of living for us. You hear me? Because of trying to source food and bring it to the Cayman Islands. It is not easy with everything happening right now. And I really, truly don't believe that these guys are just throwing prices on because they can throw them on. Because, like I said, if you know you like strawberries, you can't afford strawberries no more, you go to something else. You buy what you can afford. Don't go to the grocery store and sit down and cry and criticize every item you pick up. You really joke. There was this gentleman this morning pick up a bag of peanuts. Lad, last time it was $1 cheese, now it's $1.30. Fossils I get rich. But let me tell you something. I can't say the fossils are getting rich. I know they're overhead alone and all these other grocery stores and these gas stations and everywhere else are all overhead. Even if they're getting a discount, purchasing this stuff and bringing it to this island, when government gets to hitting there with freight and duty on it, you know, what are they going to do and what are we going to do? So government can't come and tell us, this we've been talking about this last couple of weeks, how they're going to be working on this and that cost of living. Cost of living ain't going nowhere. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. And Sterling, in regards to these cars being parked here and there, daily cars that is owners are leaving here and there, I think that they need to go and get that VIN number off of these vehicles. See who was the last owner of that car. Put it in the it should be in the computer at the license department as is. But go back and recheck it and put a hole on that individual who bought that car, that last individual. They will not be able to license a car within the next 3 years because this is becoming a real joke on this island. People is taking him on for a joke and a garbage dump.
You have a suggestion. So, I mean, it needs to be looked at in relative to enforcement, right?
Yeah. But Sterling, I just want to say that, you know, we just served the new governor in for the island. And I know that cost a pretty penny. And as she picked up and gone off to England to join the king and her premier, I mean, Sterling, no disrespect to anyone, but why couldn't they just let her stay over there or wherever she was until this was all over? And then bring her here in Sterling. Why Mr. Manis couldn't go and represent the Cayman Islands? I was just a thought, okay? Not trying to bite nobody's back, but just a thought.
Okay.
You know, because we're crying poverty in this island on a daily basis, and the money's being spent like it's coming out of your faucet in your kitchens. And I wish you come out of my faucet in my kitchen. And various kitchens has money running out instead of water. But I just want to say today that, you know, Sterling, we're going to face some hard times in this island. And if these governments, that people that call themselves government, you can't go and call them a liar on air no more. But by their concern, it tells us a lot of lies because it makes us a bunch of idiots. But we out here that may not have no degree in this and degree in that, we got more common sense than education. And common sense gets a lot of people further in life than education and a degree in your hand. Thank you, Nobby. Nice to meet you on the radio again.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing. Is another caller, Ms. Susan? All right. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Mr. Dean.
Hey, what's happening, man? How are you?
All right. Are you good?
Oh, man. Thank God I am, man. Trust if you are as well.
Thanks again. Let me kind of pop up on nowhere, right?
Yeah. Well, they can have pop-up businesses.
You good?
Good to hear from you, always, man. Always.
Yes, sir. Just let me just touch one little bit on CUC. 1 minute.
Yeah, man.
And then the last, you're going to get a nice little joke, okay? So, this is a question for CUC. You can go ahead. You can tell me if any politicians own any stocks or bonds in CUC.
Just generally speaking, I mean, CUC is a publicly traded company. Many people, Caymanians included, have invested in it because they see it as a good return and a good boon to their portfolio. The stocks are probably, the bonds, probably not necessarily as much, but they may have different classes of shares that they own, including the, just the ordinary traded shares on the open exchange.
Yeah, I like how you put that. Different classes. I like how you put that.
Bonds in shares.
Okay. You don't have stocks in CUC, right?
No. I consciously made a decision very long ago that I have no interest in purchasing shares in it.
We have shares.
Yeah, but many people do. I mean, and it's from an investment perspective, they made good returns. There was a time when it had a guaranteed 15%. Sorry, it felt like 50%.
Not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How much you think 50% of the island got stocks and shares in CUC?
I did as a student in accounting. I got fees like 1,000 years ago as part of a class project, an analysis. You pick a company that you're familiar with. We picked CUC. We analyzed it. It was really great. What a great part was, it gave us an understanding, better of the real world accounting. We had a phenomenal teacher who was willing to facilitate a discussion with the auditors, who was willing to stand as the teacher to ask particular questions that may have been contentious. What was one of the things back then, if I recall correctly, it appeared that CSU had sort of in the share capitalization account, if I remember my terms, made certain things that was asked of the auditors. The auditors ended the meeting, and that was that. So, but a lot of us own shares in it, I guess.
Okay, all right. So this, okay then, we'll leave on with that.
Yeah, nobody wants to interject, and he's a
no. I don't know.
Oh, no problem.
Go ahead.
No. I think it's a valid investment, and the good thing about it is, over the years we've always been talking about our insurance, not insurance, our pension, and the pension policy, which I always thought that the pension policy should be that they could invest locally, which is not, I don't think, the case on a certain amount. But investing locally in our companies here, I think is a good thing to do. But I probably understand where he's coming from. As long as people are invested in it, this is the reason why we're going to keep on having increases probably in prices. But we have invested company-wise. We've invested in Caribbean Utilities Company, and I think more of the long term. And I think there's a lot of other companies and individuals that have invested within the company, because there are guaranteed returns, my understanding, for the company, right?
Yeah.
Which would be trickle down to everybody else. So sorry about holding up, but yes, I don't see it as a problem, but maybe you could give me a better.
And I mean, to add to it, I think CUC had an opportunity for its customers to purchase shares easier through, I think, bill paying and different things. So to answer your question, possibly a lot of people seeing the returns may have thought that was a good investment tool, and opted to do it since it was fairly convenient. But you were saying other stuff, and we want to hear from you.
Yeah, given that it's still burning fossil fuels, you understand? I wouldn't invest in it. You understand? Personally, not me.
I can respect that.
Understand. I can understand, right? But now, given where you got people in power that can say, no, we're not going to switch from fossil fuels, when we have other alternatives probably that would bring the cost and probably the investment returns down. No. You know what I mean? I could kind of call it fishy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think that, sorry to break in on you, but I think that and I'm not defending any company, but I think I've read, and even if you look on your bill, it's a certain amount of renewable energy there. So they have a plan to go to more, or probably majority renewable energy down the line, but they already have something there as for renewable energy, and I think that's why they allow people to do on their own homes, which is not the best return, but there is a renewable policy that they have that's coming up. So they do believe in renewable energy.
You know how long they had that, or you don't know?
I really don't know, but it is in effect right now, I'm sure.
All right, so let's leave on with that then. Yeah. Okay, then let's step to one last thing.
Yeah.
One last thing. given that you would invest in the same, energy and all that, all right, would you invest in a fake mosquito?
No.
No, you would never invest in a fake mosquito.
True.
All right. So, I hate to say it, but that's a bad investment. And given who thought that they were going to get rid of mosquitoes by bringing on more mosquitoes, I think should never sit nowhere near or give any advice to people or the government. And I believe they know what I'm talking about, because these mosquitoes attack in the day, in the heat, in the wind, in the rain. Right? So if the investment was for that, oh yeah, I can see it. But you came out there with a false advertisement saying you were going to help get rid of the mosquitoes, okay, by bringing on more mosquitoes. And I don't know who voted and who fell for that trick, but all of them, I can't say going to run the government. How I going to say that? Is no way in the world I would buy a mosquito. And you paid $50 million, you paid $50 million, not your money, but other people's money, people pension money. Right?
Yeah, man.
We leave you with that laugh, Mr. Dwayne.
Okay, man. Hey, thanks very much, all right?
Yeah. The only thing I want to say is that I agree with him, but there's a lot of people investing in fake stuff these days, fake hair. They don't attack you, but they're investing in it.
All right. Well, what we know now fake is the dedication of our sales team to make sure advertisers are heard. So let's pause and return after these messages.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointments.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. Become a member today. With 6 flexible life cycle funds, we help you plan for financial security in retirement. We keep our members informed with the plan's performance through quarterly fund fact sheets. We have an all-in expense ratio of 0.75%, over 16,000 members, and 337 million CI dollars in assets under management. If you would like to join or require further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. Become a member today.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Cayman, we not going no small set. We going one big bad carnival party. Out to the blue, back to the new 40th anniversary jam. Friday, May the 5th at Seafarers Way, Georgetown, 8 p.m. sharp. Coming to mash up the party. Soca royalty, the man himself, Skinny Fabulous. Juggling the vibes straight out of TNT in Miami. Yours truly, Giselle the Wasi, one alongside Eternal Vibes. Cayman's finest, Cooley Hype and Joshy Vibes. Online tickets available at eventpro.ky or La Classique at the Strand. Friday, May the 5th, Seafarers Way, Georgetown. Out Teddy Blue, 40 years of the Cayman Carnival Battle Avenue. Miss it, your mother one.
Come out to Cardinal Avenue on Monday, May 8th from 4 to 8 p.m. for a Cayman-style coronation celebration. Enjoy local food, entertainment, crafts, and more in honor of His Majesty King Charles III and Her Majesty the Queen Consort ascending the throne. Bring the entire family for a fun-filled afternoon and end the evening with a live fireworks display, sharing this special moment in history. To learn more, visit gov.ky.
At Foster's, you'll always find the biggest specials on the products you love.
Just like bubbly sparkling water, only $5.49, save 70 cents. Or Dr. Organic Body Wash, just $5.99, save $3. And Banquet Pot Pies, only $1.59, save 60 cents.
You'll find even more great specials in-store or online with Foster's Go. Foster's, better prices because we care.
Price is good until May 17th, 2023. Find more specials at fosters.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to Nobi for sharing of your time, my friend. All right.
Thankful.
We
can be here.
We had a caller message earlier responding to the discussion relative to planning and the idea of what you were sharing. I want to read this message, and of course the phone lines are available if anyone wants to share a thought with us. Right. This listener says the planning regulation 24 subsection 3 says you can build in all areas except industrial areas, open spaces, and the mangroves buffer. Could it be that the planning is obeying this regulation? I share that because I think many times we look and perhaps we conflate planning and the CPA, two different entities. But with respect to all, and like you don't know a lot about a lot of things, right?
Yeah, right.
We don't see maybe the competing challenges that are there. The perceived vested interests and the like, but maybe as a populace, we're not sufficiently motivated. I'll give us an example. You're in a particular area. Do you now, because of the amended sort of notice requirements, do you get notice of something that is going to happen in your area? You see it, but you're not sufficiently close enough because of the restrictions I think that are placed now in terms of how far the notice can go.
Yeah. But not only that, they're actually sending you now an email with a link, and the link is open, or they send you a letter, but the link is open to the section showing you whatever's developed for a period of time. I had it in my case the other day, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
After a period of time. So, it's not like before when they sent you all the document and you have it and you know what it is. Yeah. And I think that whole thing has to be reviewed. I mean, although my comments might not make a difference, but I'm hoping other people would see it as an issue that, you want to be properly informed, and the whole way of informing people, whether it is that the law, because everybody now is looking at how the law is written, and they're structuring the laws in a way that it really, you only need to do minimal.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
right? And that is in whose favor? If you really want people to review a development and make their honest opinion on it, they need to have information. And if you're limiting that to a short window on online, I don't know, it's kind of strange,
I think that's probably from what you're sharing, where maybe some members of the community, because of other activities they have going on in their lives, don't quite become aware of something until maybe it's been advanced at a certain stage. All of a sudden now you see buildings knocked down or land being filled in, you go, what happened there? You see a sign and you pay little mind until that may be a little too late. So where do we make sure that there's sufficient notice of an impact? I share that to relay two scenarios. One individual said, I live, this argument say, a mile from this spot, so I don't get notification. But this development that's proposed, this will affect my commute going back and forth. It will affect the surrounding lands. It'll affect my life in some way. But should I have an input in it? Should I be aware of it? Or another scenario, person said, well, I live right across the street from it. I get notification, but then my input has nothing. There's a high-rise building looking down into my yard, some sort of commercial entity, some sort of other structure that's being built and activities being now introduced into this established neighborhood. Does my input have any sway into whether it's approved or not or otherwise?
Yeah.
So the public, as you shared, may not be sufficiently given sufficient notice, may not be sufficiently informed beforehand, but then again too, they might not be able to properly weigh in.
Yeah, boy.
What do we do?
I don't know. We're, I know what I'm doing. I'm trying to at least be vocal. Some people may like that, and the other people that might not. But we're trying to be vocal in the sense that hoping that more people be vocal. But I know this talk came on. These radio shows have been on for a long time. When I came out from university, I was engulfed in this every day. Gotta listen, and it get you a little bit frustrated because some of the things that people are saying are valid things, but then not much of those who can change things are changing it. So you get a little bit frustrated over time. But I still think that it's always great for people to come in here, like myself and others, and express their views as a Caymanian that has a concern. And then even if they call on the radio, I'm happy that you allow me to come in here.
No, man, thanks, man.
Yeah.
One of our listeners posed this. Let me read as this is. I want the public know that the final draft National Planning Framework was released in February 2023 and is now posted on the Department of Planning website. Chances are going to the news, right, Miss Susan? All right, let me get there in time. This time. Join us after the break. Stay tuned.
Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio Cayman.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Brought to you by Tropical Plaza on Smith Road.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Water Authority Cayman announces that Dr. Brian Jones has completed the book Geology of the Cayman Islands, Evolution of Complex Carbonate Successions on Isolated Oceanic Islands. The book is a unique and thorough record of the specific geological research that Dr. Jones and his colleagues have done in the Cayman Islands, and it is based on an extensive database of fieldwork and laboratory analysis. You can order a copy at the Next Chapter bookstore in Camana Bay or at the National Trust office in South Sound. In international news, Donald Trump denied knowing E. Jean Carroll in a video deposition played on Thursday in a Manhattan court where the writer is suing Mr. Trump for rape. 79-year-old Carroll has accused Trump of attacking her in a New York City department store in the mid-1990s. Mr. Trump, who has repeatedly denied the allegation, has not yet attended the civil trial, now in its second week. He told reporters he might cut his ongoing golf trip to Ireland short to confront Ms. Carroll in New York. Carrie Fisher will be honored with a posthumous star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame later, but a family dispute risks overshadowing the occasion. Hollywood is paying tribute to the late Princess Leia actress on Thursday, May the 4th, known as Star Wars Day. However, a row has erupted between Fisher's daughter and Fisher's siblings. Her brothers and sisters have criticized Billie Lourd for not inviting them. In response, Lourd accused them of trying to capitalize on her mother's death. Fisher died in 2016 at the age of 60. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Brought to you by Tropical Plaza on Smith Road.
Row Variety, centrally located in Tropical Plaza on Smith Road, carrying a wide range of household items, bathroom accessories, towels, clocks, handbags, clothes, shoes, jewelry, and more, and more, and more. You can buy from the big box retailers or support local. The better deals come from shopping local. Row Variety Store, Tropical Plaza, Smith Road. Telephone 924-9553.
Between the traffic, the meetings, kids' activities, there just isn't enough time. Best Health Pharmacy was a game changer. Not only are they centrally located on Eastern Avenue, but they deliver prescriptions for free anywhere in Georgetown and West Bay. I could not believe it. When my prescription ran out, they ran it back to me. Best Health Pharmacy, located at Crown Square Plaza on Eastern Avenue, across from Edie's Decor, offering free prescription delivery anywhere in Georgetown and West Bay. Call 949-1301 or WhatsApp your prescription to 924-5358. Best Health Pharmacy. Your health, your convenience is their priority.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks to Nobi for sharing with us. And as one of our listeners reminds us, the Department of Planning website is an invaluable resource, not just for the minutes but for publications. Now, one of our listeners, Nobi, also messaged to say is that the block and parcel numbers in and of themselves are not enough on the planning site. When notifications should give the name of the applicant as well as, so that you can have better recognition,
Good point.
More information.
Yeah.
Well, point. I guess in that sense, though, people want to know what's what, but they also need to be willing to act on it as well, right?
So my only question here is that person that listening in and sent you the message about planning the new planning regulations.
Let me
read
it for you again.
Yeah. It is like, they're asking a question. So, if there's something valid that we should know, let us try to understand. I mean,
well,
just ask a question about what if we know. Well, I honestly didn't know that it was there, but I'm assuming that all of these are posted at everybody's website. But and I think they did something recently to inform people of changes. Am I correct?
Well, they might have, but to read what was messaged, right?
Yeah.
Says public now needs to know that the final draft national planning framework that was released in February of this year is now posted on the Department of Planning website. The listener also responds to say that didn't know that, and to me, in other business interests, this is a hugely important framework that will shape the future destiny of the nation. So, like you, someone else didn't know, many of us didn't know, and to your point, when you say you get a notification, it comes electronically, you click on a link, and shortly it'll disappear. It may be there for a week or a month or however long, but it's not there forever.
Yeah. So is in a court, just trying to get a correspondence there, because it's like, it's great to be able to stay on one end and send a message, right? But is this a good thing in the view of this person listening in, or is this a bad thing? That's why, let us have some idea of what that is all about, because, I definitely want to know if I need to go and pay more attention. We probably need to read it, but pay more attention to all these things that are happening now.
But, the inference being that, I think you're both on the same page in that many of us don't know certain things because maybe there's not sufficient information to say, hey, this is now available. Maybe some of us, take for instance, medical appointments at HSA. We probably became accustomed, some would say, spoiled, you get your notification the day or two before, your appointment tomorrow at this time with this doctor or the dental clinic. Maybe we become reliant on that. We become accustomed to it, and we now anticipate that if we don't remember, we'll be reminded. But to the message and to your comment, is there sufficient information out there to remind us that this is now available? Is it that we who are not necessarily vested in something and should probably automatically be a part of our daily thing, check-in, should it be that it's there for us without having to be so connected to it? If you're a farmer, every day you probably check your livestock, your crops and the like. A non-farmer probably wouldn't do that unless it's a tour of the farm, right?
Yeah.
But
our laws are changing so fast, and regulations can change even faster, right? And at the end of the day, I guess we all got to keep up to date with it, because, it's my opinion, and I know I'm gonna be held to blame with this, that I don't think that all the laws are properly read or reviewed before they're actually put in place.
Yeah.
I think it does. Some people don't read them to see how they're going to affect us.
It's interesting that you shared that, right? On Monday, the government published an order effective May 1st, restricting the importation of cars older than 7 years. And it's passed by cabinet. And a number of people over the years have asked, should a government be able to, in effect, make such policies, such laws that affect lives through regulation? Should it be done through public debate in the assembly, in the parliament? Some lawyers would say, well, no, it needs to be this way. There needs to be a scope of flexibility. Others would say, well, if it's so impactful, should it not be, properly debated in a public forum?
Well, I think that probably why they did that, and I'm sort of in agreement with them.
Yeah,
right. Is that which I just learned that recently, is that they went ahead and approved the road, but a lot of people wanted to see a balance, because you can't just develop roads because we have a problem with traffic and not control other aspects of why we have traffic.
Yeah.
And I understand it's pretty extensive. There's more to it than just cars 7 years old. I need to review that as well.
Yeah.
Because I think that that's the right approach, that they're going in the right direction. The right direction is limiting something with the cars, because we can't keep this up. We can't keep this up.
But then, no, and this is where those types of discussions can be, if well informed, can be beneficial. Will it be, as some would say, well, limiting who can drive a car? Right? Would we want to do that? We seem to have issues with immigration.
My understanding, there's a lot of that's going to be in there, but I don't know the full aspect of it.
There's some, maybe incremental steps as to what may come. But again, at the end of the day, if someone says something, say a politician, the public may agree with it in private, but castigate it in public. I don't know. I guess that we'll see where the Daniels are. Much to be had or not be. But this is where I think I ask you and others, to continue to have that courage, because sometimes the things you say are intended to spark discussion and get people to think, but many times you end up taking licks, as you say, for it, because it's not something that people say, oh, you shouldn't say that public. But why not? Why not?
Yeah, well, you know where I stand. I'm all about, the environment, number one. And, on top of that, I'm not against development, but I think it has to be structured. And we have to know how we're going to develop. And I just spoke to a gentleman today that's, been around for a while, business owner, several businesses, and his he made some very good points. It's like, we need at least a 15-year development plan that's followed. I know we had some way back when, but we need to have not just development, but 15-year plan,
right?
But overall for the country, because we're not. I don't know if we're maybe if we had like certain parties that went in and had their plan, maybe that there's a plan there that we don't know about, but there has to be some long-term plan that would benefit us overall.
But then would the public, you think, the general public, but in particular the voting public, are they willing to champion some of those things that maybe seem to be like those hard decisions? If a development plan is 15, 20, 50 years, 100 years, the thought that we're not going to do this now, we're not going to do this now in this way. Before you answer, let's join this caller. Let's welcome. Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hey, good afternoon again.
Hey, welcome back, man. Thanks for calling back.
Okay. So concerning the bridge that Dart got down by Westway Road.
Mm-hmm.
You know he's going to get that out, like what his plans are, right?
There have been many sort of, I guess allegations, contentions, or what have you as to what may have been proposed or considered or what may come, but I don't think I've seen anything in the public domain proposed or approved. Have you?
No. I think our Premier in Panton is serious too about it and not doing so. That's why I'm hoping that he stays in there at least one more term as Premier. Because I know he's serious about what he's saying. But if he's no longer the Premier, God will get that bridge underneath that bridge. It will happen.
All right. Well,
thank you.
Yeah. Thanks very much. Thanks.
It is trying to follow that.
I guess many people for the past however many years have, questioned, that bridge being there. What was the necessity? How does it? Allegations were that, you'll be able to move a boat from the 7 Mile Beach under the bridge into the North Sound, or from North Sound across to the bridge. Some have alleged that there going to be, as it was proposed some time ago, some sort of marina basin within the seaside on the 7 Mile Beach where they filled in. There were some discussions publicly about it. The plans were, I think, withdrawn or something. A lot of speculation and conjecture. Sometimes people from a limited perspective, some out of growing concern. But again, maybe that speaks to the idea of what sort of development plan, not just something that is put forward by a would-be developer, that is facilitated by government through concessions, or we've seen a need for additional taxes or employment, but maybe something that could be a short-term pain with long-term gain, or it could actually be a whole lot of pain short and long-term. But are we looking at it properly?
Boy.
Questions.
Whenever it comes to that 4-letter word, I'm scared because they got more money than me. They'll just put me in. But anyway, I'm not really scared. But
I hear you,
to be honest, these are concerns. But I believe we're already too far ahead.
Yeah.
So even if we keep the current administration or Premier or whatever, I don't know if we'll be able to stop those kind of things that have been. It seems to be already approved somehow. But
this is where public's input and involvement, being informed and engaged, is helpful.
But again, were we able to stop? This is something for that caller to think about. We weren't able to stop a certain developer or that developer from blocking the road and creating buildings or that have accesses running through them, public accesses running through them. So basically, how are we going to stop them from doing other development?
All right. Well, let's think about that question over the break. We'll come back and we'll take some more calls. Join us, please. Stay tuned.
From boat days to beach gatherings. Leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips for all occasions and celebrations. Let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Dwayne Porter will be taking appointments from May 5th through 12th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited, whether you're seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles. Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.porterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That is 946-9020.
Happy 40th birthday, Cayman Carnival Batabanoo. Celebrate the 40th anniversary milestone of Batabanoo with a special happy hour and international costume showcase this Friday, 5:30 to 8 p.m., Cardinal Avenue, Georgetown. Enjoy complimentary drinks and steel pan music. Meet and greet with the acclaimed designers, models, and beauty queens from Colombia, Mexico, Panama, Cuba, Honduras, Cayman, and the USA. Join us for a very special happy hour with complimentary drinks, music, and a costume showcase this Friday, May 5th from 5:30 p.m. on Cardinal Avenue as we celebrate the 40th anniversary milestone of Cayman Carnival Batabanoo.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Ro Variety, centrally located in Tropical Plaza on Smith Road, carrying a wide range of household items, bathroom accessories, towels, clocks, handbags, clothes, shoes, jewelry, and more, and more, and more. You can buy from the big box retailers or support local. The better deals come from shopping local. Ro Variety Store, Tropical Plaza, Smith Road. Telephone 924-9553.
Saturday evening at 8 o'clock, you're invited to tune in to your Yesteryear Musical on Breeze Radio for a CI flashback relevant to the end of World War II in Europe, May the 8th, 1945. And some Child Month relevant music. May is Child Month in the Cayman Islands. Your Yesteryear Musical, entertaining, enlightening, and inspirational. Your Yesteryear Musical, Saturday evenings at 8 o'clock on Breeze Radio. Entertaining, enlightening, and inspirational. Topical with CI cultural and heritage flashbacks. And the wonderful music of yesteryear. From the Thomas Edison era to the recent past. Your Yesteryear Musical, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on Breeze Radio. 105.3 FM in Grand Cayman. And 91.9 FM in Cayman Brack and Little Cayman. We'll look to have you tuned in.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks to Nobi for being with us. And I think we had a patient caller waiting for us, so let's go take the call. Good afternoon.
Very patient.
Very patient.
The brother almost finished.
How are you, Mom? Thank you so much for calling back.
Yeah, Darling, there's new pass that Mr. Dan has there by the governor's residence. Do you think and feel that road might become partial or one way? I don't know, but I was talking about that the way that I was looking. There's no space in between those two buildings on the road to do anything anymore. You can't expand the width of the road. You can't put no sidewalk. Look like that degree unless the one that he goes inside his property. And it looks pretty tight to say that that's going to continue to be a two-lane going and coming. You know what I would thought about it could become a partial one way.
And is that the one where that new condo is being developed? Right in the corner going to the beach? For the beach? Yeah. Well, something to be had there. I mean, the whole notion of that development there has caused some people to ask questions, but like many things, we may talk about it when it's too late.
True. And the thing with it, you don't even know what that new hotel is going to be named, the one that's facing the public beach, and also the one he's finishing up now with the bridge over it. I don't see no names there stating what their future name's going to be. I mean, I don't know why people can build here on this island and don't even have a sign up stating that, this is what's coming soon or something in that category. Even though we're here on the Smith Road Oval, there's something going down there, and you're not sure what it is. You got some kids play stuff on the ground, and then put up this metal structure now, long ladder of metal going up there, and it all looks so close to the road, and I don't see no proper fencing put up. They got a hedging so far, but I don't know what kind of fence they're going to put up. But God forbid if anything happens. I'll tell you one thing: those roads can forget about driving on those roads. If something happens here in Cayman, you got to run.
Yeah, I guess it speaks generally to what you're saying. To what extent the public is sufficiently informed? Is the information readily available but not as accessible? Do you need to be looking for it just because we're curious or we have a vested interest? Should it be, much more public? So good points to make, Mom.
I guess he probably got on his website if anybody's looking for a job. I guess you got to probably go and look up his website to see what's his name and the job's available. So just why there's no sign there is trying to throw off people here that you don't apply for no job, because a lot of people here doesn't believe in going on the internet looking for no job. They want to cross it and say, oh boy, you know what? I'm going to call that place or go to that place and try to apply for a job. And everything now is computer. But anyhow, that's Cayman. Thank you.
Thank you again. And I believe we have one final call. Welcome, good afternoon.
Yeah, Mr. Dwayne.
Welcome back, man. Welcome back.
Yeah, I saw it. But hold on, you know that last call me and you were just joking, right?
How many people know that? Huh?
I don't know, because this is why I won't tell them. Look, if I don't tell nobody, they say, say the police drove across my yard right after I hung up that call, though. They stop right by my yard, you understand?
Wow.
So, you see this kind of fascism. It is fascism?
Yeah.
Just because I talk about $50 million worth of mosquitoes, when you could be talking about why you didn't have the free health care and all that. I should have brought that up. Why we dropped the free health care to 18 and all that. I should have brought that up again. Who stopped that, right? And why they stopped that? Why they stopped that? Through the racism. Oh, no, too much Jamaican having babies. Too much all this. Oh, here I'm coming, You hear that? You hear this?
Yeah, I hear it.
Yeah, this the kind of thing that they are trying to deal with, and I into that. I'm not the one that follows anybody. I'm not the one that leads anybody. I just hear. You understand? So.
Yeah, man. But I hope
God save me and God bless everybody. You understand? Thank you very much for this time.
Amen, man. Be well, my friend. It's interesting, huh? I mean, sometimes people, see things, see the correlation. Some say it's a coincidence. But the later caller just prior was asking the thing on Smith Road. I'm reliably informed that that's a pickleball court. Yeah, some know, some don't. Some know and don't say. Like many things, right, Nobi? So that's what that is. But there are probably a lot of other developments where people don't even know what is being proposed and don't want to, get some information until the land has been sufficiently cleared and filled. That even if it wasn't proceeded with, it might be too late to undo. All right, Nobi, getting to the end of the day for this Thursday, man. Thanks for making the ride from, what's probably the most tranquil part, huh? What else you want to share with us, my friend?
I just, just thankful, you gotta be thankful every day now, and, I think every time we come in and we talk about it, I know, things are changing, everything getting more expensive. I don't know why the banks have to be so expensive, but, guys, I'm really just trying that, to see whatever you can get right now, because another couple of years or months we could be really in tough times, and just everybody just keep positive, support each other. And you go all over the world. It's great when you can see another Caymanian, another person from home, and even share a laugh and stuff. And we have our Badamanu coming up. Want to get out there. Around people. You don't know when you're not gonna be able to get out and do something. So, try to enjoy the time and support things. Get outside, man. Get outside and do something. You going fishing with me?
Yeah, man.
Fishing is the thing.
I
gotta do some fishing coming up now.
On the shore,
snapper season coming
boat?
up.
Yeah?
We go in the boat. We can do a little bit from shore, but boat, man. We going out now, man. We gotta get out there now. A little cat boat or something like that.
You gotta do it, man. And I appreciate you reminding us, because I think many of us sometimes we take a lot for granted. All right. We were all in prison a couple of years ago and never thought that would occur, right? They call it quarantine, and I call it house arrest, right? And that may inflame or offend people, but that was the consequence, right? And when we look at, as you shared, are we living each day as it's our last with a sense of appreciation and giving and thanksgiving, or are we greedy and through the avarice that we display, we're just trying to extract as much as we want?
Well, let me correct you. I'm not living each day like it's my last, but I'm living today.
Yeah.
I want to live today because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And when I say that, it's not about living and ignoring everybody else around you. It's living and appreciating everybody and everything around you.
You're living in giving. You're living purposeful.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's how I am. And there's one thing I'll say to everybody. I know you may go and you may purchase a dinner and you purchase a lunch and you pay for your lunch, and you probably never think about the service of the person who's providing you your lunch. And over the years I do my tours, and I've been very very thankful, very lucky. Some of the contributions or donations or tips that people give me, and it's great to get something when you provide a good service. So I'm just asking everybody, if you go and you go to a place and you do something, and someone in the service industry, see if you could give them a tip.
Yeah, man.
It'll make you feel good. I think it makes me feel good when I could give someone a tip, and I think it does a lot for the person who's providing the service. They'll feel a lot better about what they're doing.
Kindness and love can go a long way. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks very much for coming in, and to our listeners, tomorrow, Mr. Loxley is joining our season. We're facilitating sort of joint partnership, CI Retro Talk today. The King's Coronation. You're going to be talking about that. He's going to be educating me. I'm going to be, as I always do, sit in his council and learn. So that's the show for tomorrow. Miss Catherine Tyson is supposed to be joining us at first to talk about, and then at 1, Mr. Loxley. All right, well, thanks very much. I'll suggest that you WhatsApp and request a song for Susan. Nobody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One last bit?
Yeah, one.
Yeah. Just want you to know that Ali Ebanks show is still at the National Gallery. So everybody check it out. That's a local thing. Al is an amazing artist, and I think he does a great job, and he supports everybody. He introduced me, my prints, my photography, and forever grateful for that. And I think he's an amazing guy. And go out and support it at the National Gallery.
Thank you for reminding us, man. It was a good space, but even, we'll have those exhibitions. All right, good friends, join Art Corner tomorrow morning for the record, and then stay tuned constantly for all the Radio Cam has to offer, and come back for Talk Today, CI Retro Special tomorrow with Mr. Loxley. Be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.
Here is where tradition never dies. This is your radio,